Good morning, good morning. How's it going, everybody? Nice to have you this morning, February 3rd, 2026. Here's the headlines we're going to take a look at today. It looks like Disney stock's not been doing well lately, so they've brought in a new guy. We're going to take a look at the NASDAQ, S&P 500 futures. They've been making some moves, but we're going to break down what's really taking place on the charts. And Palantir. If you've been following us on our Telegram channel, you'll know that Palantir is now gapped up straight into a big institutional supply area where we are expecting big institutions to take profits on their long positions. And we can see that right now if you take a look at the chart. And we'll be taking a look at that shortly. Gold, silver, bouncing off the major drop. Yeah, we had a huge drop in price. And obviously, you know, there's going to be people looking for that opportunity to buy the bottom. And price dropped into demand zones. We are seeing a rally in them now, but soon we're going to see price reverse back to the downside. There's a lot of stuff happening in the metals. So personally, I'm staying away from it. I wouldn't want to be losing my money in all the volatility. So we'll take a look at those stocks or those charts as well. We'll take a look at PayPal. It's in the news. Looks like Tesla's in the news. We'll briefly look at Bitcoin as it's hanging for dear life, just about to break through a zone. Whew, once that monthly demand zone breaks, I tell you, it's not going to be good for Bitcoin. And then we'll look at the trending tickers: PayPal, Pfizer, Palantir, CAT, and Pepsi. We'll look at all those suckers, okay? All right, so welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for another day. It's always wonderful to be here and to be alive and not to be in a hospital bed. Ready to get things going. All right, so first things first, let's take a look at... how about we look at the NASDAQ and the S&P? We'll take a look at what's going on here. So here's that demand zone that we talked about before. On the daily time frame, it came down, lots of wicking through it. You see all that wicking through it. And then look what ends up happening, okay? It's holding the demand. So what does that mean, holding the demand? Well, this was a short-term buying zone that came in, okay? Why do we know it's a short-term buying zone? Well, because this short-term selling zone was wiped out, okay? So you can't wipe out a zone without having something being created. So they remove selling, they come in with buying, and now that buying area is holding, okay? But on the very short term, which is the 1 hour chart, we have this institutional supply zone that was already contacted once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, okay? And it's still holding. Why? Well, there's short-term selling here. Okay, that's all I can tell you. There's short-term selling. Now, if this area were to be removed, then very short-term buying would come into the market. Now, I was watching this area here. This was a really good, strong area of buying that was taking place. And because we had that daily area of buying down here, and it was followed up with this very short-term buying here, I was watching for a move down here for the continued move to the upside. But it just continued rallying up to contact the supply up here. So now we got a range, okay? We got supply above, we got demand below. Short term, these two zones are going to rule price action, okay? Right now we got the short term bearish price action, which is putting pressure on price to the downside. And if price was to get down here, we'd get bullish pressure, putting pressure on price to the upside. So I'm going to be watching this chart pretty closely and seeing how it unfolds. Might be a trading opportunity. We'll see. NASDAQ, okay, so we made contact with that area of buying, just like we did on the S&P 500. Price came up. It's falling short of its institutional selling area, but we do have that buying zone down here, and we are dropping pretty quickly to it. I will be paying attention to this area because we may have a long trade from this area, okay? So I'll be watching price to go down in there and for a move to the upside, okay? Dow Jones. Woo-wee! Look at that. Look at that big move. Remember we were talking about this just the other day? Institutional demand, okay? Right here. This is short-term buying, contacted once, twice, and now we have the big move to the upside, okay? So we go down one time frame to see what's happening, and look, its short-term selling area has been taken out, and it was taken out back here, all right? So this is what allows price to rally, is the removal of these short-term zones. Now, as you can see, if we look down, there is no institutional zones in this area that was responsible for removing that supply. Now we can go down one more time frame, go and look at the 15-minute chart to see if we can see anything, and looks like, not the best, but it kind of looks like this area here, okay? But it has been taken out, okay? So that wouldn't have been the area we would want to be focusing our attention on. But at the end of the day, institutional supply is removed. That's opening up the chart for a move to the upside, and that is what we're getting right now, okay? So the markets still look bullish to me, okay? Across the board, they look bullish to me. All right? Okay, so that's what's happening with the indexes. Palantir, let's go. PLTR. What's going on with this? Take a look at this one, guys. What a surprise. Now the headlines are going to say, Palantir dropping after markets open. Here's the reason why. Okay, so we had the news come out. Palantir jumps after earnings, beat on strong U.S. sales. But I told you we were going to be rallying right up into an institutional supply area. Okay. Now, depends on how you drew that supply area. It could have been like this. Many different ways to have drawn it. I did it the most conservative way. Looks like we're falling short, but this is the institutional supply, okay? This is the selling that I was telling you about. So what happened was, when we were looking at price action, we had a big demand zone on a higher time frame right here, okay? And what does that mean? That means that if there's going to be significant buying, it's going to be from these areas. But the more times an area gets contacted, the bigger the chance that eventually it's going to break through, especially when it goes so close to breaking the zone, which it did, okay? Then we start to really question whether or not there's going to be big institutional buying from these areas, okay? So I suspected probably not. There's a good chance there's not, but it really does depend on what happens short term. And this is a daily time frame, and this represents a short term chart. And so we located institutional selling that was taking place right here as price was being driven down to the very, very lows of this demand zone. And so, since the last thing they were doing was selling, I suspected, you know what, I bet you any money they're going to come in with good earnings so that it can rally price right into their selling zone so they can take profits on their long positions. Because right now, with good earnings, retail traders are coming in and they're buying this, right? This is what happens. Retail traders come in, they buy because good earnings, and as they're buying, the big holders are selling, okay? Now, if you were tracking the supply and demand taking place on the charts and you knew that the latest thing that they were doing was selling, you'd probably not want to be selling. You'd probably not want to be buying right now, okay? Knowing that they're hungry to sell. So this is what's taking place with Palantir, okay? This is why it's dropping so aggressively. And if the news comes out later on and explains to you some reason why it's dropping, it's not, okay? It's dropping because the big institutions are offloading long positions, okay? So I'm going to be watching that one to see what unfolds with it. But so far, not looking too good. Iger leaves both gifts and burdens for the next CEO, Disney. Disney stock's been doing nothing. I've been watching that one for a long time and really isn't doing much, okay? Last area we contacted was a selling area that used to be a buying area, okay? Buying areas can turn into selling areas, and we teach that at the school. There's a reason why that happens, but this selling area has been contacted several times, once, twice, third time. And so because the selling area is in play, nobody in their right mind should be buying. Okay. Well, and nobody that knows that a selling area is in play should be buying, but a lot of people are not aware of what's going on in the charts. They are not able to locate institutional buying and selling, and therefore wouldn't understand that buying Disney stock right now would be very low odds for their portfolio. So that's what's going on there. Let's take a look at gold and silver. I know a lot of you really, really are interested in gold and silver, and so am I. And so when we look at the daily time frame, we had that major sell-off, okay? And as I was pointing out to members, right through this big, big rally up in price, the banks were offloading their positions, okay? Yes, indeed. They were offloading their long positions aggressively all throughout here, okay? So when those headlines were pumping gold like crazy, the banks were offloading their long positions. And listen, if you were following the CFTC data and you knew what was taking place and you recognize that they were, massively aggressive with long positions and that they were going to need to take profits, which is something that I've been talking about for quite some time now, it wouldn't be a good idea to be buying when the banks are selling, okay? And so it reached a pinnacle and we saw the major sell-off, which took price from 5,500 down to what, 4,400? I mean, it's just madness. It really is. But we are reacting from some demand. Okay, we had some institutional demand down here. So they start buying, the institutions start buying to cause price to rally up. Retail get in last minute. They see that price is going to rally. They think this is a good opportunity to make back some of the losses that they took. But I have to point out that we are now coming into this area here, okay? Again, what once was demand now turns into supply. And this, if price continues higher, will likely be the spot where we will see price reverse back to the downside. And all those people getting in long gold are going to be caught on the wrong side, and they're going to realize, uh-oh, maybe I shouldn't have been buying gold. By that time, it's going to be too late because we're going to see an aggressive move to the downside. Short-term charts, this is what we've got, okay? This is what we've got. As you can see, a buying zone got turned into a supply area. That got taken out. So we have short-term buying here. So any drop from that institutional selling area is going to be coming into play with this area down here, okay? And we got this area here. Right like that. Okay, so this is the dynamic that is playing out right now. We have nothing up on the short-term time frame except for this buying zone here, okay? And once we come into contact with that selling area on the daily time frame, then expect to see a move down to this area, okay? This is what supply and demand dynamics are forecasting for price action on gold, okay? Could it play differently? Sure it could. But the banks would have to come in and do something live, okay? I'm telling you what they are doing, what they have done, okay? And based on what they are doing and what they have done, we are able to forecast what's likely going to happen in the future. Like I said, they can come in and change the game plan real quick and change price action and make it do something different. But I'm just telling you what I'm seeing right now based on what they have been doing, okay? And if we take a look at silver, it's pretty much the same dynamic, a little bit different, but the same dynamic. If you take a look at silver chart, you remember we had this institutional buying zone down here, okay? That was a great long signal right here, okay? We even had the confirmation on the 1 hour time frame off that daily demand zone. So we are reacting from that zone again. This is where banks are buying. But I believe it's only going to be short term until we make contact with this area. And then from there, we're going to see a push to the downside. Everybody's going to start freaking out when they see the momentum dying, and then they're going to get out at a loss. Okay. On the very short term, we have the 4-hour chart. We have an area down here. It looks like we could have this here. Possibly, possibly. I will be watching this area nonetheless down in this area here, okay? And it looks like this has been removed as well. Okay, so short-term upside, yeah, possibly, but then that's going to be followed with some short-term downside. That's what I'm seeing. Again, unless the big institutions come in and change the agenda, okay? I'm not privy to that information, okay? I don't know anybody that works at the big banks to let me know what they've got planned. So this is what I'm seeing as of now, okay? Give me out traders, dump software stocks, HP, PayPal, not looking good. We'll look at that one a little bit later. PayPal stock sinks after profit miss, CEO switch. Okay, let's look at PayPal. After profit miss. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, this is so bad. Okay, well, let's put things into perspective. PayPal. A big drop in price. Ooh, really bad. Really bad. But I will point out that, there was some major selling here. Major selling here. I mean, this looks like some news-driven spikes right into a major selling area. Okay, so there was some major insider selling taking place on PayPal. Okay, somebody smelt bad news coming and they got the hell out as soon as they possibly could. All right, and it happened here and it happened again twice again here on PayPal. So this drop is not coming to it's not coming as a surprise to certain people. Who knows who they are? I'm sure we could look at insider selling here. Where is it? Open insider. No, that's not what I want. Open insider. And we can look at PayPal. PYPL. Ooh. Wow. Okay, so let's go back here. This was February 2025. The rally up was June 25, and then we have July. And then the big orchestrated rallies, big emotional events happen in October and late October, okay? And then, of course, afterwards. And what do we see here? Look, October, 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 November, okay? Look at the sale of stock, right? Global Chief Risk Officer, Global Markets, Consumer Group, President, Global Markets, VP Chief Accounting. VP of Chief Accounting was like, I'm out of here. I'm bailing in October. So you see what was happening in October? Okay. Some orchestrated event causing a big rally, a big spike up. Don't know what it is. Okay. I could look through the news and find out exactly what it was, but we're not going to do that in this session. But this is what was going on here with PayPal, okay? Now, I will say that when we look at the 12-month chart, we are in an area of potential interest, okay? If the banks were going to start loading up on PayPal, it would likely be from this area. Would I want to buy here? No, not in hell, okay? Because listen, you can't just trade the technicals. It's got to be in line with what's happening with the company, all right? It's got to be some good news coming out of the company. So I personally wouldn't be buying here, but I would have very specific signs on the chart that I'd be watching for to ensure that the banks are going to be buying. And listen, what do you think one of those signs would be? Okay, if you looked at the weekly chart and you saw big institutional selling areas coming in here, what do you think would need to happen to be convinced that big institutional buying is happening? How about institutional selling areas be taken out, right? There'd have to be that. Retracements to demand zones, and then away we go. Okay? But until something like that happens, I wouldn't be touching PayPal. I'd be staying very, very far away from it. Okay, so that's PayPal. Bitcoin stalls after brief rebound. Yeah, did you see what Kramer was posting yesterday with Bitcoin? I mean, I don't know. It just looks like he's trying to help somebody out. Not good. We've been looking at this monthly demand zone for quite some time, but the fact that we created a basing candle and then a momentum candle, not good. This usually spells disaster when we have a momentum candle to the downside after basing candle contacted demand. It's usually not good. Could they come in with buying? Sure, but it's not likely from what we see, okay? When we look at the charts, we have to take what we know to be true and what we've seen happen over and over and over again. And typically in situations like this, what tends to happen is a move to the downside. Okay, we got 25 days until this candle closes, so this could turn into a very bearish candle, breaking right through this area. And then what we would have is big institutional selling here. Okay, this would be the selling zone that we would be watching for. And nobody should be saying Bitcoin is bullish unless in the future this area gets taken out. If that zone is not taken out, nobody should be saying that Bitcoin is bullish. Because if we have major selling happening on Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, you're not going to have major buying until that major selling is taken out. Okay, so not looking too good for Bitcoin as it stands right now. Okay, so we looked at PayPal, Pfizer, PFE. Let's see what's going on with Pfizer. Not good. Don't like it. Wouldn't touch it. And plus, you know, Pfizer, morally, I wouldn't want to really touch Pfizer stock. I think you touch it and it's just not good. PLTR, we saw it already. Cat. Ooh, I wanted to go long cat. Never reversed to my buying zone. It's been up since. My October 25th monthly target has been reached and it's being surpassed. New institutional buying is coming in on the weekly time frame, which is good. We'll watch to see if that zone becomes valid, and then we might have a potential long trade. Pepsi, let's see what's going on with Pepsi. Big move to the upside. What was it? Earnings? Probably, yeah. But ooh, look at my monthly time frame. Look at my chart. You see it? I posted here. Good earnings rallies price right up into a big institutional selling zone. I previously mentioned that this zone needs to be removed for there to be upside. So let's watch to see if it is taken out. Okay, so need out for longs. That's right. It needs to be taken out. And so we got a situation where now we have a big strong rally up into the selling zone with good earnings. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good for those that are getting in right now. Okay, I'd prefer to wait for that to be removed, new buying to come in. Once new buying comes in, then I would be interested. Okay, if you guys like the information, hit the like button. Okay, as you know how it goes, likes and all that stuff help out with the algorithms and all that. You know how it goes. We need to get this information out. I mean, this is real deal analysis, okay, of what is really taking place in the markets. And I should mention, if you guys want to join, now would be a good time because we're going to be starting up a new classroom session soon, okay? New classroom session soon. We're going to be starting, and you don't want to miss this one. If you want to know how we do this analysis, how do we locate the zones? How do we know where to buy? How do we come and join? We'll start teaching you that in the classroom sessions. All right. What else do we have? I think we covered practically everything that we had, right? Yeah, there was somebody was asking me. Let me read some of your comments before I let you go. Good morning. Show your support to continue. That was me. You're right about PLTR, by the way. Thank you, sir. My first live session. Welcome, Colin. Nice to have you. Hi from freezing London. Yeah, it's freezing here too. Not so bad today. I think -8, going up to -10. But yeah, London's probably cold, eh? Yeah, if Florida's cold, I'm sure it's going to be cold there too. I hope I'm in good health. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit sore from that area where that kidney stone passed through my kidneys into my bladder. I'm feeling a little bit sore here today. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It is sore. But I took some pain meds, so hopefully that'll kick in and then I'll feel better. Can we check CIBR ETF, please? What is CIBR? Have I looked at it before? First Trust, NASDAQ, cybersecurity. Ooh, dropping. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like we could see a big drop. I see a very, very strong area here, 56. Look at this rally on the 6 month. Looks like it could drop to 56. I'd feel comfortable getting in around that area. But otherwise, it looks pretty weak to me. Something that I wouldn't feel comfortable buying, that's for sure. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you, Kevin. Thank you, Zachariah. Gold already hit 4-hour supply. Nice charts. Could we look at Apple? What's been taking place with Apple? Oh yeah, hit that buying zone. Yeah, I told you, be careful. It's hitting the buying zone. We're going to see upside, and we got upside exactly as I said. But now we're hitting that key area of supply on the weekly time frame. Supply for profit taking, okay? So any buys down here at 240, profit taking at 268. We'll see. If they want a long-term buy, they're going to remove that supply. Okay? If they want a long-term buy, they're going to remove that supply. So we'll see if they remove that weekly supply zone, okay? I was looking for a potential long down here, never got all the way down there. But this chart's looking pretty bullish. It's just hitting supply right now, so we got to wait and see if it wants to remove it, okay? Otherwise, I suspect that they will probably profit take on positions there. Great information. Please hit the like button. Thank you, my friend. Jaw blessed. I can't join the mentorship until next month. Trying to get sooner. Yes, come and join, Colin. You got to join. What do you think about the currencies? I have lots of opinions on currencies. Lots of opinions. Euro, we called that big move. I made a post on Telegram channel with regards to the new area of selling coming in here short term. This could be the selling area that produces a larger move to the downside. I'm watching for a big move in the euro to the downside. I'm watching for a big move to the downside on the pound. Aussie, I got a potential short setup taking place here. US dollar, Japanese yen, move to the upside. Dollar, upside. US CAD, don't have anything on watch for that one. Those are my go-tos, but the big one I'm watching for is a big drop in the euro, which I think is coming. Okay. All right, folks, there we go. There you have it. I will leave you with that. I think I covered enough for you. And again, if you liked the session that we did this morning, please consider hitting the like button and sharing the video. I'd appreciate it. Okay. Anyways, you take care. Have a good one. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you in the Telegram channel. And if not, if you join, I'll see you in the classroom sessions. All right. Thanks, everybody. You take care. Love you all. So long.